Genuinely, I am curious. It's almost as if this movement's toxicity was created in Tess's image. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sam. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I am so happy to have you guys here again with me this week for another great video. If you are new here and this is the first time you are seeing my face, welcome. I make weekly videos dissecting internet nonsense, so if you're into that type of thing or you like today's video, I hope that you'll consider liking and subscribing. It really helps out the channel and make sure that you never miss another upload from me. Whew, it is only the beginning of February, but it feels like we have a year's worth of fat acceptance madness to get through here together, and I promise we will hit it all. Just a few weeks ago, we were talking about how the movement is starting to crumble. To offer a too long didn't watch version of that, essentially, a few fat acceptance influencers have decided that they want to lose weight, and the ones who've decided that they don't are viciously attacking them and letting us know that they're not capable of wiping themselves. Yeah, it's been a real weird start to the year. But this infighting in the community was just so juicy. There were a lot of people who reside on the outskirts of the community really being loud about how much they disliked the weight loss, thought that these influencers were gaslighting, hated the GLP-1 medication push, all of the things. And so when I made that original video, I specifically sought out the loudest voices in the fat acceptance movement because I needed to know what they were saying. It's not atypical to hear and see them saying that this is the most fat-phobic time of the year because of all the weight loss ads and diet ads, right? This is when diet culture is the most rampant. So that is what I fully expected to see. But what I found left me feeling a little shook.
Excuse the sound of sizzling sausage in the background, but I have to tell you something that is truly going to change your brain. We are well into January, and that means we are seeing people that are losing weight, doing weight loss things, moving their bodies, eating differently, and I want to tell you that none of that has anything to do with you. If that's something that you want to do, then I think it's wonderful. If it's something that you're not able to do, it's okay too. There's been so many plus size and fat creators losing weight and changing their bodies, and I know people are mad, but at the end of the day, people need to do what they feel is best with their bodies, and nobody owes anybody anything. And I know how it can feel like a slap in the face and you feel so betrayed, but guess what? The only person in charge of your happiness is you. And to be honest, that is a beautiful, liberating thing.
Are we in the Twilight Zone right now? Like, what is actually happening? Did we just hear Tess Holliday say that people should not judge other people for wanting to improve their health and maybe change their bodies? Tess Holliday? You know, the one who told people they're not allowed to use the word healthy in her house?
Now, there are a few words that I don't allow when somebody comes into my house, and healthy is one of them.
The same woman who just last year openly criticized Gwyneth Paltrow's diet and suggested that she was glorifying her ED.
I have coffee, but I really like soup for lunch. I have bone broth for lunch a lot.
You know, what I find most mental about this is that we've known for years that she is okay with glorifying her eating disorder. And I'm not judging because I have an eating disorder. Bone broth is not a suitable meal. And then to end your day with just eating vegetables, but yet people continue to give her airtime, to give her a platform, to take her advice because everyone is too afraid to be fat.
And before I get too far, I do want to just throw this in here. I realized that I had clipped a whole bunch of things about this beef between Tess Holliday and Gwyneth Paltrow, and then I never made a video about it. Probably because I was bored by it by the time it came around. I'll be real, I have a lot of folders like that. It's where things go to die. I don't agree with Gwyneth Paltrow. I think she is one of the worst peddlers of toxic wellness culture, and she makes her money in really, really scammy ways. But it's truly rich for me to hear Tess judging Gwyneth for eating bone broth and vegetables and saying that that is not a suitable meal. Because remember, according to Tess, they struggle with the same restrictive problems. But Tess has videos on her own platform talking about how all she's had to eat for a day before is pizza. And then she ate that and didn't feel well. And someone suggested that maybe that wasn't a suitable meal. And she all but lost her mind. They are cut from the same scammy cloth. Anyway, this video of Tess's really piqued my interest because she didn't just come out and outright say that she was looking to go on a diet or lose weight or improve her health, all of which I think she's trying to do, but she took that sort of soft approach to backpedaling, telling people that she was going to change their brains, telling people that what other people do with their bodies don't matter. It's the same approach we've seen taken by other celebrities who are also trying to softly backpedal their way out of the movement. I'm looking at you, Lizzo. Because this video is Tess actively trying to back out of this movement. A movement she helped create, and a movement that's every bit as toxic as she is. She is absolutely aware that she cannot just be forthright about her goals to improve her health and lose weight, because she spent so many years pushing fat acceptance talking points and rhetoric into the mainstream and telling people that she was fit, healthy, and 300 pounds. So instead, she's chosen to tell her audience basically that they need to mind their business when other people are changing their bodies and doing things to improve their health. And this is already rich coming from Tess herself, but she also went ahead and left this comment on her own post that reads, "Side note, it's never okay to be dishonest with your audience on social media or gaslight them. Def's seen some of that and it's disappointing." She is really out here acting like her audience, the same people who are mad at other creators for losing weight and wanting to change their body. She's really acting like their behavior is shocking to her and like they haven't at all learned it from watching her do those exact same things in the exact same way for years. She's been one of the most dishonest influencers in this whole space. And in my opinion, she's been gaslighting her audience and the world for years with this restrictive ED diagnosis. If you've been watching Tess online and following her for as long as I have, you probably also have whiplash from the many times she has changed her mind and flip-flopped, even on her own messaging. Tess really helped the fat acceptance movement move from underground to mainstream. And that is evident as we watch her evolution from starting out with nothing more than a Tumblr account to the accounts she has today with massive amounts of followers on both Instagram and TikTok. Her first magazine cover in 2015 boldly exclaimed that she was the world's first size 22 supermodel. We watched over the years as Tess slowly continued to gain weight, but that didn't stop her from continuing to tell interviewers that her weight had nothing to do with her health.
What about your own health test? Do you ever, because we had a report very recently in this country saying it's a myth that you can be very overweight, obese, and be healthy. So do you worry about your weight? You've got young children. Do you worry about your health?
Look, I would not go through having kids and what it does to your body to not be around for them. You know what I mean? I know that I'm healthy.
In 2017, she landed on the cover of Fabulous magazine's 500th cover, which also happened to be their body confidence issue. It was the first time we saw her mentioning how she beat the haters, stayed fat, and became a successful model. Then, in 2018, she landed the cover of Cosmopolitan UK, telling the haters to kiss her butt cheeks. This was the cover that launched Tess and her fat acceptance rhetoric straight into mainstream media interviews. But what's most fascinating to me is that between 2015 and 2017, she stayed roughly the same size, compared to her 2018 cover, where we can see that she's changed in size considerably. Despite the visible difference, Cosmo and Tess decided it would be a great time to remind the world with a 3-page spread that fat people can be healthy. It was around the same time that Tess signed a contract with Massey Arias, a massive fitness influencer, as well as Fabletics to promote their bright, colorful workout gear. It was clear to many people that this was some sort of publicity stunt and at worst just a money grab, because Once Tess realized that she could just pose in the bright, shiny workout gear without actually breaking a sweat, those workout videos stopped real fast. Then, in 2021, as her viewers watched her binge eat repeatedly on camera, Tess tweeted out to let the world know that she was in recovery for a restrictive ED. As expected, a hailstorm of content came out following her announcement, calling Tess a liar. She had just told the world that it was possible to be fat and healthy, and then with the flip of a switch told the world that she'd been suffering from one of the worst psychological illnesses, a restrictive ED. And that left people feeling angry, rightfully so, because even with her new diagnosis, Tess had decided she was not going to stop eating massive quantities of food on camera. But now she was doing that while simultaneously telling her audience that she was not feeding herself at all. And you all know I do not have a background with restrictive EDs, so I don't personally know a lot about what goes on behind the scenes. But I do watch channels that do talk about that. One of my favorites is Dorian over at Of Herbs and Altars. And actually, they just put out a video recently talking about the influx of really thin influencers who are telling people that they are in active, healthy recovery when it's very clear that they are not. It's a really interesting video if you are in the headspace to listen to topics like that. I will try to remember to link it down below if you'd like to check it out. In my opinion, Tess has been using this diagnosis as permission to continue practicing these really harmful behaviors where she's eating massive quantities of food, but she's doing it under the guise of a healthful recovery, which is extremely problematic. But again, in my opinion, the reason that she's doing that kind of follows that pattern that she's always had of silencing the haters. We saw it in the magazine articles where people told her she could never model, and she shut the haters up by becoming a model and staying fat. This is just a new way for her to silence those haters. And I'll be really honest, this has been sitting with me for a while. I don't know if you can tell, but I've really been stewing on it because in all seriousness, I don't know that much about restrictive EDs, but I do know that when people have been actually starving themselves, the process of refeeding that body is dangerous and it needs to be monitored, because if it's not, it can actually be deadly to that person if they're taking in too much too fast. So when I see Tess saying she's in healthful recovery, but she's gorging herself on pizza and snacks, it's just plain as day that she is gaslighting and manipulating everyone who's listening to her. And while all of this is going on, she is also still never let down the talking point that she is perfectly healthy.
So I'm at the doctor's right now, and it was the first time that I have ever had a good doctor's visit. But we did my blood work. Everything was fine. Literally no high blood pressure, no high cholesterol, nothing. And the doctor was like, yep, you're good.
Despite her doctor giving her this clean bill of health about a month prior to the Don't Judge Them video, immediately after the soft sort of backpedal Don't Judge Them video, she posted this.
Diet is never a word I thought I would use when it came to my food. However, I've been eating an anti-inflammatory diet for the last couple months, and I can tell a vast improvement in my body and overall my physical health. And I wanted to share a little bit about what my breakfast looks like. It doesn't have to be scary. It can be delicious and fulfilling, no matter your size.
That's right. Despite being fit, healthy, 300 pounds, and having this clean bill of health, she's now on an anti-inflammatory diet. And just like we did on the other video, if you scroll just a little bit, Tess is responding to a comment and letting us know that she has to do this diet because her lymphatic system is not draining the way that it is supposed to. Tess, girly, if your lymphatic system is not draining the way that it is supposed to, you do not have a clean bill of health. You can't really call yourself healthy. And you can't tell people that being fat is healthy. It's always been baffling to me that people generally don't know how bodies work, and part of me gets it because they're pretty complex systems. But specifically when it comes to fat activists in the movement, it's almost as though they think all of the systems, so the lymphatic system, the blood vessel system, the nervous system, it's almost like they think those things are not interconnected and that an issue with one does not affect the others. But we already knew that Tess has zero understanding of how bodies work because just last year she gave us this gem.
Your body does not know the difference between a chicken Caesar salad or this. Your body doesn't know the difference. Your body's only job is to break down the protein, fats, and carbs that you put in your body. And that's all you need for a balanced meal.
What a quick turnaround from your body isn't smart enough to know the difference between a bagel and bacon or a Caesar salad to I need to eat an inflammatory diet because my lymphatic system's not working. If your body doesn't know the difference, then why is anti-inflammatory going to make a difference? I am genuinely curious to know how Tess would answer that question. Genuinely, I am curious. I think all of this is a result of Tess getting to an age where she can no longer pretend that her weight is not affecting her health. She even recently just told us that it might even be affecting her job.
One of the most asked questions I get is, are you still modeling? And I just wanted to answer that really quickly. I am not really still modeling because I have been pushed out of the space, and it's probably because of my size.
So again, there are many reasons for her to backtrack. We've seen her talking about her health now. We've seen her talking about how her weight is affecting her job. And maybe she just needs to change because
let's face it, living in a larger body is not fun.
But she has to do it slowly and with very calculated steps, which we're already seeing. Because if she doesn't, her audience is going to attack her the same way she has taught them to attack others. It's almost as if this movement's toxicity was created in Tess's image. All right, that is all I have for you all today on this topic. And at this point, I want to turn it over because I'm curious to know if you've seen Tess's content about changing to an anti-inflammatory diet. I'm also curious to know how you feel about her telling people not to judge other people when she has been the queen of that for quite some time. I'm all for people growing and changing, but the way she's kind of shirking accountability for creating the toxicity that she's now condemning is so fascinating to me. So I would love to get your opinions on that. And I will be in the comment section reading your opinions a little bit after this video goes up. So please leave them for me there. And for any of my introvert friends out there who do not feel comfortable leaving your opinion in an internet comment section, I see you, I feel you. Go ahead and leave me some sort of fashion emoji today, right? Because Tess's was a fashion model, so let's go with a little fashion emoji. I feel like that could be fun. And I love seeing your emojis just as much as I love reading the opinion, so please leave them for me there. Thank you all so much for being here with me again this week. I will see you in the next one. Bye!